Good morning. God has allowed us to get up into his word from Leviticus chapter 11. Leviticus chapter 11. This book right here, no excuse for me. And I was talking to somebody last night, and they were saying this book is an indicator that the Old Testament doesn't line up with the New Testament, because a lot of things that were wrong then, we don't do that anymore. We are not under the law. Well, she said, I guess God changed. She said, well, did God change his mind? He couldn't have changed his mind, whether then he wouldn't be God. And then she said, that's why people say Jesus paid it all, because we can't live under the law. So since he paid for everything, we can just do whatever we want to do. And she started naming the things that we could do. She said, you know, that's why people of the same sex can get married or live that lifestyle, because when Jesus paid it all, he said, I did it all. Well, okay, well, if you think that's what it means, then you have the right to proceed, keep living like that. But I saw some things in here that I tell you the truth. One thing it's gonna show us that God is he's God of a cleanser. In other words, the blood cleansing. And then he's a God that talk about the natural blood, what's inside of me. He said, I'm God. That's why I don't understand why people dance and shout and play music every time we go into the presence of God, as if to say there's no learning to take place. But Leviticus 11 said, have a seat. Have a seat and sit down and be quiet. That's what it said to me, because he's getting ready to tell me about myself. And I didn't want to give up what I read about I went to the New Testament and said, I got to find something to stay in this. And God couldn't have meant that, because that couldn't have meant that, because ain't nothing wrong with Jesus said. I said all that. Then I went back to the word. It was steady, still said what it said. So God is saying here, I'm going to be your dietitian. I'm going to tell you what you can eat, and then I'm going to be your physician and tell you what you can touch. So if you decide that you want to, you know, keep doing what you want to do, then that's up to you. But after I read it today, I am guilty. I am as guilty as a person that did it, because I did it. I'm like Adam eating off that tree. I ate it. And the consequence of what I ate, I see it. So Leviticus 11 didn't play with me. I got quiet. And I started searching the New Testament to justify it. I couldn't find nothing to justify my bad habits. So God has said, I'm not only the God that can redeem you from sin, I can tell you how to live on earth. And these are some things that you must live by if you want to see good days. If you want a life that makes sense. Now it's just hard. Let me just go and say this. This chapter is not an indicator that God forgot about what he said when Jesus came. Jesus, okay, yesterday I learned that Aaron's sons died because he disobeyed God. And then Aaron did not fulfill everything he was supposed to fulfill, because God understood through the mouth of Moses that he understood this guy didn't have an appetite to eat. After, you know, preparing everything, he didn't finish the work. So Aaron was a high priest. And he said, I just can't finish it. So, because his sons had died. And so I understand that the overwhelming understanding that both your sons died in one day, that deep. So I can't eat no more. I ain't hungry, Moses. I'm sorry, I just can't eat. What if Jesus had done that? Jesus did get in the garden and say, Lord, if it be possible, let this cup pass from me. I don't want to go, nevertheless, not what I think, but what you say. Jesus is the only sacrifice and the only high priest that fulfilled and didn't give up. He said, I'll go through. So Aaron is a type of Brenda. Get to a point I can go so far, Lord, I can't take all that. Jesus said, I'll take it all. He finished the work. Aaron, that's the second time. Aaron was the one when Moses was hearing from God on Mount Sinai. Aaron was left in charge and bring me the gold, bring me the silver. He made that calf and caused those people to become naked in the presence of their enemies. That's Aaron. And then God said, okay, I'm going to still deal with you. I'm still let you, I still got a plan. I'm sitting up here making something for you while you down there acting foolishly. So Aaron yesterday, after he saw them boys were dead, Aaron was, I can't take it. I can't go to the cross. I ain't the one. So Jesus is the only somebody that fulfilled the purpose and plan of God and did not shrink because it hurt. And it would see Aaron was hurt because it did to his son. Jesus said, I did it and it was done to me. You crying because of your sons. It's different when it's happening to you, even though I know you love your son. But think about if you had to be the one that they're getting ready to kill. Aaron being the high priest, able to go before God, make an atonement for the people, for us. And Aaron said, I lost my appetite. I can't eat that sacrifice. I ain't got no appetite. It ain't funny, but I understand Aaron. Because I was in the scripture last night after I saw what I could and couldn't eat. I was like, I got to find me a scripture to back me up. Because I eat all kind of ways. I like eating anything I want to eat. Just don't eat too much of it. I like the Weight Watchers plan where you eat what you want as long as you count. I don't do Weight Watchers now. I have done it before. But Aaron was a guy, he got all the way to the end and said, I can't. That's why I did. People say, well, Jesus came and now we can do anything we want to do. Okay. Well, God has, good morning. God has allowed us to, you still got that right. You got the right to eat whatever you want to eat, how much you want to eat, but the consequences of what he said in Leviticus chapter 11 is alive in 2020. Good morning. All right, where everybody else at? Uh-oh. You know what? I ain't mad at them.
Listen, and some days I gotta do it without the crumble.
Uh-huh.
They crumble so much.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like,
They look so happy going down the street. Anyway, back to us. Aaron, he was like a human being. And if you're trying to find a way to cover, see if Jesus covered your sins, he said, go ahead. Consequences still the same. Y'all, let's get in this word. Leviticus chapter 11 is the way you got to plan your stuff, because here we go. I'll tell you right now, I'm guilty all over this book. At least some of this stuff. I'm going to read in the King James, and it is quite a few scriptures, so, okay, it's the word. And the Lord spake unto Moses and to Aaron. He stopped talking to Aaron because Aaron didn't complete his task. Excuse me, y'all. And the Lord spake unto Moses and to Aaron, saying unto them, say this to the children of Israel, these are the beasts which you shall eat among all the beasts that are on the earth. These are the ones you can have. Whatsoever parteth the hoof and is cloven footed, and choose the cud among the beasts, that shall ye eat. Now, when I read this, I went and looked up under the hoof. I looked up under the foot to find out what is that dividing the hoof. So I saw that means it's split up under the hand, up under the foot of beast. And then it says, and he chews the cud. You know what that means? Chew the cud. That means that the animal has to be able to digest that food. The first time he gets it and he swallows it and it goes into his digestive system, then he let it come back out of his mouth and he chews it again. And then he lets it go through the finishing process. So he said, if it has that, he said, if their foot is divided, the hoof of it, and they chew the cud, that means they let the food go down, then let it come back in their mouth, and they chew it some more, and it goes back down again. He said, you can eat that. God said, you can have that. You can have that meat right there, like a cow. A cow would eat the hay, and then it goes into that first part of his intestines, and then he comes back out, go back up into his mouth, and he chews it again, and then it goes right back in there again. He said, you can take that, eat that aside, and he got his feet right, on his foot right. So God is very detailed. So this is why he God. Who else knows that? I just thought he swallowed like me. Ooh, just think about how they do that. Chew it, come back up, chew it again. God said he all right to eat. He said, whatsoever part of the hoof and is cloven footed and chews the cud among the beasts, that shall you eat. It's okay to eat that. It's okay to eat some beef. Nevertheless, these shall you not eat. He said, I'm going over what you can eat and what you can't. So if you're not sure, go check the foot and then check his digestive. How does he digest? And then I got a chart that I made, that I found online. I didn't make it. That would divide what I can eat and what I can't. Nevertheless, these shall ye not eat of them that chew the cud. Now, some of them chew the cud, or of them that divide the hoof. All right, some of them gonna do half of some of these animals. I'm getting ready to name gonna have a divided hoof, but they don't chew the cud. And some of them gonna chew the cud, but they don't divide the hoof. The hoof is not divided. So it's like, let's just read the word, because I can make some examples, but I don't want to throw it off. Nevertheless, this is the stuff you don't eat. Nevertheless, these shall you not eat of them that chew the cud, or of them that divide the hoof. As a camel, don't you eat any camels, because he chews the cud, but his foot is not divided. His hoof is not divided. He is unclean to you. In other words, he is not healthy for you to eat. Now you say, well, that's good. I know I passed that test right there. I don't eat no camel. Some people eat camel. God said, I'm telling you what not to eat now. Because he's talking to the children of Israel coming out of bondage for 400 years. These folk were doing some wild things. So God said, let's get this thing straight. I want y'all to live a long time. And the coney, because he chews the cud, but divided not the hoof. So now you got this rabbit type thing. He chews the cud. He spit it out and then come back up and chew it again. I mean, he swallows it and then it comes back up. He does that part right. But his foot is not divided. So God said, don't eat that. He is unclean to you, not healthy. Don't eat that thing. You're going to have some issues. And the hare, another kind of rabbit, because he chews the cud, but divided not the hoof. He's unclean to you. God said a rabbit. Yeah, we just love rabbit. Give me some of that fried smothered. Put that rabbit on that biscuit. He said, don't eat that. I don't eat that, so that's easy for me. Oh, I can just shout now. I don't eat that. I don't do that. I can look down on them people that do that. God said, don't do that. I'm telling you, I read the word. Here we go, Brenda. Here we go. And the swine, known as the pork chops, and the chitterlings, and the bacon, and the ham. What do you say about that? Excuse me. And the swine, though he divided the hoof, all right, check upon his foot, he's straight there. And be cloven-footed. Yeah, he ain't just solid up under there. Yet he chews not the cud. He said, you can't have it. Ooh. He said, oh, some air pocket ain't acting right. All right. Ow! I feel like I need to stand up. And the swine, though he divided the hoof and be cloven-footed, yet he choose not to cut. In other words, he got a good job. He kind of good looking, but he'll beat you upside your head. In other words, he got some of the qualities. He just don't have all of them. And that's that swine. There I go right there. I passed the camel test. I passed the rabbit test. I did not pass the pig test. Lord have mercy. The Bible says that he has it right up on his foot. He's straight. But what goes in his mouth, he's going to touch that thing. If you don't complete that test. Yet, he is unclean to you. He is unclean to you, Brenda. Of their flesh shall you not eat, and their carcass, if he dies, shall you not touch. They are unclean to you. And that's that swine. Let me tell y'all what I did yesterday. I read this yesterday, and I thought about all that swine in my refrigerator, my freezer. I think I bought some vegetables with some swine in it. God knows how many other things that's got ingredients of swine. When you've been eating swine that long, and you know, you kind of heard the word, and you hear people talk about it, but it's different when you see it for yourself. So then I started searching scripture in the New Testament. I just got to be something to say. All this time I've been eating this, Jesus paid it all. And then, the Jews were saying, well, you can't be eating this. And Jesus said, it's not what goes in a man that defiles him. It's what comes out of him. So I thought I was pretty good at that scripture. I said, well, Jesus said it ain't about what you put in your mouth, it's what come out of your mouth. So then I felt like I can go back in there and eat that bacon. I can eat that pork chop and order me a cup of chitlins. Then I looked at the results of what chitlins do, what the pig do to me today. I told you, God is the God of he's a physician, he's a dietitian, he knows everything about this human body. I went to the pig museum. Lord have mercy. I threw my head down after I saw what they do to a pig to make sure I get fed good. Oh, I went heavy into that thing. Oh my God. Just the thought of it. Oh my God. If you go on YouTube and you see how they raise pigs for us, they say they'll take a female pig and get that thing pregnant so many times, and then when they get sick of it, they kill it. Said pigs supposed to be able to run around and jump. He said they keep them things in a slaughterhouse and then dress it up and sell it to us and make it look good, and it tastes good. But that thing give you arthritis, clog up your blood. And if we think of God as being, somebody told me the other day, if we looked at him like love's a Brenda, you don't need that. But Lord, I've been eating it for 60 years. He said, that's what Jesus came in. His mercy. Now that you see it, then you go on and live like that if you want to, but you ain't gonna be fit for much. Y'all, that's why I read this word. I found myself. I went in there. All I can tell you is my grocery list getting ready to change. That's all I can tell you. Because you can't see what I saw and still eat it. You can't see the pig, but they do. Go in there and check it out. What God said then, it still has power today. But when I do, fix my diet, I'm not going to look at other people like, why are you still eating that stuff? You know that stuff is in you. That's not why I'm going to stop eating, make you feel like you're wrong and you ain't fit for God because you do. I hope that when I see the changes in me and then other people see it, then I'll be able to tell you about what I found in the Word, the beauty of the Word and the beauty of Leviticus, the 11th chapter. If I got to look at that pig rotation every day to keep my mind off of what I'm really doing, It can't even taste the same after you see that. So that was my hang up right there. Now some people said, I'm going to have me some of this camel. I like baked camel. You not had that? No, not interested. But that pig had me though. That's me now. And I just let anybody know, God did not forget when Jesus came that all that stuff is okay to eat. What Jesus did is, he's a teacher, and he shows you why it's not good for you. Why you don't need it. Not trying to make you go to hell because you eat it, but you ain't gonna live your best life if you do. Ask anybody that eat pig. We can take up for it if we want to. But me and my family and people my color, we love pig. Pig on the rib, pig on the... And you know where all that pig go to? All that fat? To the hips. I was reading that said that most of that fat is deposited right there in the hip. I gotta give it up. I gotta get off of it. And I'm willing to do it too. I gotta do what I gotta do because I want to be my best me. Brittany, you just not reading that? I'm just not reading a lot of this stuff. Never in my life put my eyes on the Word of God and read every word. I look at everything in one chapter a day. I look up cud. I ain't know what cud meant. Nobody ever sat and told me that. It's not anybody's fault. Me personally, I never understood cud until I looked at it. I'm not a farmer. They just read this. Every translation I saw, they would just call it cud. I guess they assumed that I ought to know what that was. I didn't. All right, now I got the pig on my list, just like Adam. You can't have everything. It's not good for you. That's all love is saying. It's not good for you, baby. Not good for you, Brenda. I'm telling you now, your body can't digest that. These shall you eat of all that are in the water. Uh-oh, we got to go to some of my best food up in here. These shall you eat of all that are in the water. So God said, I got the land, and let's go to the water. Because I'm going to go to the water, I'm going to go to the land, I'm going to go to the water, I'm going to go to the sky. These shall you eat of all that are in the water. Whatsoever has fins and scales in the waters, in the seas, and in the river, you can have that. You can have some of that. Check the fish out. If you got in the scale, good to eat. Got in the fins, good to eat. Scales and fins. Catch it in the sea or in the river, you can have that. God said that's a limitation on all this stuff you can eat. But let's see what I like. I like some of this stuff again, like the pig. You got a bad eating habit. You have to think, and I think that's what God, I know that's what He want me to do. Because when you don't care what you eat anything. And that's why I got so much fat on me. It's because I don't have to plan on menu when you could eat anything. You go in there and start eating. Be just like them boys that came in there with them sisters yesterday and lost their lives. Unnecessarily because they didn't have a plan. They didn't follow God's plan. I said, let me tell you something now, y'all. All right, this is for me now. I know y'all gonna argue about this if you want to. And all that have, you ain't been as big as I am. You mean to say I could have been totally different? Because half the food I eat is what I shouldn't have been eating. And all that have not fins and scales in the seas and in the rivers and all that move in the water and any living thing. Y'all hold on a minute. I got to spray a little bit because these bugs, like they want to take over this morning. Got to clean it up. And all that have not fins and scales in the sea and in the rivers and all that move in the waters and any living thing which is in the water, they shall be an abomination to you. In other words, your body can't handle it. Oh, that word abomination, that just scares me. He said, I'm telling you, your body not made for that. Brenda, I'm talking to myself. They shall be even abomination unto you. You shall not eat of their flesh, but ye shall have their carcass. But ye shall have their carcass in abomination. Let me read that again. They shall be even an abomination unto you. You shall not eat of their flesh, but ye shall have their carcass in abomination. In other words, don't touch that stuff. I got to look at that. I didn't check the last part out about verse 11. Because I'm wondering, it's saying, but ye shall have their carcass. Oh, I think it's not, this one ain't going to hurt you if you touch it if it's dead. But just don't eat it. Because some of these things you can't touch, nor can you eat. Whatsoever has no fins, no scales in the water, that shall be an abomination to you. And you know I'm from Mississippi. I love me some catfish. Got to clean my diet up. Oh, Brenda, you ain't got to do you could just bless that food and eat it. They're like me marrying a man that said, you could just say, God just forgive you. I could just marry that woman husband. I could just ask God to. I'm staying with the word. I'm going to be like a child. I ain't going to do that. Lord, help me not to do it. I love catfish. Ooh, I cooked some good catfish the other day. Whatsoever has no fins nor scales in the water, that shall be an abomination unto you. And these are they which shall have in abomination among the fowls. So God said, I haven't left the sea. I'm finna go to the sky. I've been over the land, tell me what you can eat. I've been in the water, I told you what you can eat. And why is it that I love the stuff that I shouldn't have been eating? Lord, help my appetite to abhor that stuff. Been eating it all my life, and let me tell you what the word says about a goat. That he would do something so foolish as all his life, and he just don't even have a mind to change. I want to change. I don't want to get so old that I don't change. I got to start thinking when I cook now. It ain't nothing me to go to the grocery store. I would go to the grocery store and look at what's in my basket, then look at somebody whose body looks like I wish mine looked. And I said, look at what I got in my basket. Look at what they got in their basket. And that's why we don't look the same. I was in that basket and what's going inside of me. But y'all, God loved me. And I trust him. Verse 13, and they are they which shall have an abomination among the birds, the fowls. They shall not be eaten. They are the abomination. Don't you eat in the eagle, in this asafrach, in this aspra. I can't pronounce them. All these in that eagle family. I looked them up. And the vulture. Now, I don't eat the eagles. I feel like I'm really good at this. I got this. And the vulture and the kite, after his kind, every raven after his kind, and the owl, don't you eat an owl, and the nighthawk, and the cock-owl, and the hawk after this kind. Now that you feel really holy now, because I got that down pat. It's a little something here for everybody. Check it out. And the little owl, and the cormorant. I may not be pronouncing anything right. And the great owl, and the swan, and the pelican, and the gear eagle, and the stork, and the heron after her kind, and the lapwing, and the bat. Ooh, you know they've been talking about that bat on the news. He said, don't y'all eat that bat? Don't you eat that owl? Don't you eat that eagle? Oh, I feel like I'm really, all fowls that creep going up on fours shall be an abomination unto you. All fowl that creep, going upon all fours, shall be an abomination unto you. Yet these may ye eat of every flying, creeping thing that goes upon all four, which have legs above their feet, to leap wither upon the earth. So let me tell you what you can't eat in the bird family. Even these of them ye may eat. You can have you some locusts. God, thank you, but I don't want no locusts. He said some locusts of his kind, and the bald locust after his kind, and the beetle after his kind, and the grasshopper and the grasshopper after his kind. He said, you can have some of that. But all other flying, creeping things which have 4 feet shall be an abomination unto you. And for these ye shall be unclean. Whosoever touches the carcass of them shall be unclean until the evening. He gonna tell us what will happen to us if we do eat these things. Are you gonna die instantaneously? He said, no. Keep reading the word. I'm going to tell you, if you eat this stuff, what you got to do to get out of it. And whosoever beareth out of the carcass of them shall wash his clothes. In other words, if you funeralize or touch the dead thing, you got to wash your clothes and be unclean until the evening. And now you got a whole day that you just can't be going. And if it was something that keep you out of going to church, you can't go to church. You've been touching on that dead stuff like that. You got to stay out there for a whole evening. The carcass of that I said church, but I'm just saying you're unclean. You can't do the things that clean people can do. You can't offer a sacrifice to God, not unclean. What are they going to show us how to take care of? The carcasses of every beast which divided the hoof is not cloven-footed, nor cheweth the cud, are unclean unto you. Everyone that touches them shall be unclean. So he's going back over this. Go back over this stuff again so you can really get it. And whatsoever goes upon paws among all manner of beasts that goes on all four, those are unclean to you. Whoso touches their carcass shall be unclean until the evening. So you don't touch this stuff. Don't eat it, don't touch it. If it's dead. And he that beareth the carcass of them shall wash his clothes. In other words, somebody got to carry them dead animals out. He said, but if you do, you got to wash your clothes and be unclean until the evening. They are unclean unto you. Don't go in there in a hurry. Go in there and wash your clothes. Stay away from everybody for a whole day. These also shall be unclean unto you among the creeping things that creep upon the earth. Don't eat the weasel, the mouse. You mean, Lord, these folks must have been eating some of this stuff because they come straight up out of Egypt. And God said, don't eat that weasel, don't eat that mouse. Ugh. And the tortoise after his kind, and the ferret, and the chameleon, and the lizard, and the snail, and the mole. You don't care how they decorate this mole and pull all that garnish around and make it look all pretty. God's don't eat that. These are unclean to you among all that creep. Whosoever does touch them when they be dead shall be unclean to the evening. God said, be careful what you put your hands on. And upon whatsoever any of them, when they are dead, doth fall, it shall be unclean. If one of the things just fall dead, he said, don't touch it. Not just putting your hand on it. It shall be unclean, whether it be a vessel of wood. All right, look at the 32nd verse. And upon whatsoever any of them, when they are dead, falls, it shall be unclean. Whether it be in a vessel of wood, or raiment, or skin, or sack, whatsoever vessel it be, where any work is done, it must be put into water, and it shall be unclean until the evening, so it shall be cleansed. All right, if any of these things that he just named, he said if it falls on a piece of wood, on your clothes, on your skin, on a sack, wherever somebody's working, it must be put into water, and it shall be unclean until the evening, so it shall be cleansed. So it's certain things God has listed here. If it falls down and it gets on this stuff right here, if you touch that thing, it shall be unclean. In every earthen vessel. All right, let's say you got these things that God said don't eat. In every earthen vessel wherein any of them falleth out, whatsoever it is shall be unclean, and you shall break it. All right, you boil that thing, and you put it in that pot. Because it's in there, you got to throw that pot away. It ain't no more good. Or the meat which may be eaten, that on which such water comes, shall be unclean, and drink that may be drunk in every such vessel shall be unclean. In other words, once you put that food in that pot, becomes contaminated, even the good food that you put in there is not going to be right. Because he said, I told you to break it. And everything whereupon any part of the carcass fall shall be unclean, whether it be in the oven, you try to bake it, on the range, for pots, on top of the stove. They shall be broken down, for they are unclean, and shall be unclean unto you. This is God's design, so keep reading. Nevertheless, a fountain or pit wherein there is plenty of water shall be clean. Now, I take that thing and put it up under a lot of water, plenty of water. Don't put it in that little pot. But you take it out there where water is actually flowing. then he said, it will be clean. But that which touches the carcass shall be unclean. So you got to go back there and read what God is saying. Certain things, even if you put it in the pot and you boil it, and if it's not what I said, you can have to eat. Throw that pot away in that thing that's in the pot. And if any part of their carcass fall upon any sowing seed, all right, now it becomes fertilizer. And if any part of their carcass fall upon sowing seed, which is to be sown, it shall be clean. If it's fertilizer, then it's all right. But if any water be put upon the seed, and any part of their carcass fall thereon, it shall be unclean. In other words, if you water that thing, and then put that dead, unclean thing on there, then the seed is no good. Hey, this is the word, but we're going to get to something that in a minute. And if any beast of which you may eat die, if anything that you eat and it died, he that touches the carcass thereof shall be unclean unto the evening. You can't be eating dead. If an animal dead, don't eat it. Hey, Darnell. And if any beast of which ye may eat die, he that touches the carcass thereof shall be unclean unto evening. God just got an order. And he that eateth of the carcass of it shall wash his clothes and be unclean unto the evening. He also that beareth the carcass of it shall wash his clothes and be unclean unto the evening. Now what God is doing is showing us the biggest picture of what he has designed for man. He shows us these big things of what you can eat, what you can't eat. The thing that's on land, the thing that's in the water, the thing that's flying in the air. All these things that he said, let me tell y'all what you can have on this earth. So you won't look like Brenda, who broke all them rules. Anyway. Hey, I'm learning and I'm changing. That's why I love this word. And every creeping thing that creeps upon the earth shall be an abomination. It shall not be eaten. Whatsoever goes upon the belly, and whatsoever goes upon all four, or whatsoever hath more feet among all creeping things that creep upon the earth, them shall you not eat, for they are an abomination. He's telling you what's on the menu. He's telling you what we can have. If you want to look like moi, then eat anything. But if you want to look good, then follow God's instruction. Well, that's back in the Old Testament. You know how you be talking about folk that look like me. Well, how you be talking about me. Oh, she's so big. I didn't pay no attention to this. I was eating anything I want to, no diet, no nothing. Now I got to be more discreet. And guess what? I'm delighted to do it. I'm going to tell y'all last night. I went to start. This is the truth. My niece, we walk every day now. And she told me, she said, have you ever tried Mrs. Schubert? That pig in a blanket? I said, no. She said, girl, I can't help myself. Now, you know when you tell me that I got to try it. So I went to the grocery store and I found it. And I put it in the freezer yesterday. It was in my freezer. And I was reading the word yesterday. And I declare I did go to the New Testament and try to see if I eat this stuff. And I found a scripture that made me feel like I'm going to eat it, right? First, I was feeling like I ain't going to eat it no more. And then I said, no, I think Jesus paid for this. So I put the thing in the oven. And I ate some of it. And I was just going to say, Lord, I know you ain't mean this. Anyway, yes, he did. He meant it. And I'm just saying, y'all don't want to look like me. And that's all I can tell you. If you believe it's all right in the New Testament, just look at all the people that eat like I eat and see whether or not you want to look like that. That's enough to tell you, no, I don't want to eat like that. Whatsoever goes upon the belly and whatsoever goes upon all four, or whatever has more feet among all creeping things, that creeps upon the earth, them shall you not eat, but they are an abomination. So he's going back over what he just said in the previous verses. You should not make yourselves abominable with any creeping thing that creeps, neither shall ye make yourselves unclean with them, that you should be defiled thereby. You just always watch the folk that defend this kind of stuff. Now, he didn't tell you to go out there and make a religion out of it and start looking down at people talking some kind of, I don't eat meat, I'm a vegetarian. He said, that's not why you're doing this. He said, you're doing it because it's healthy. The reason why I'm God is because I'm trying to tell you how to stay strong and look good and be healthy so I can use you. He said, for I am the Lord your God. You shall therefore sanctify yourself. In other words, clean up your act, Brenda. And ye shall be holy. What is holy? What I said. That's what makes it holy, when you obey what I said. Not because it look holy. It's because I wrote it. I said it. I spoke it. And ye shall be holy, for I am holy. In other words, I'm not asking you to do something I'm not doing. I made all this stuff, and it has a purpose. But everything I made is not for you to eat. I want you to add a little discipline to your godly lifestyle. I want you to know that we do things differently, not to look down on people, but so you can be your best you. He talking to Brenda because I ain't been mad. I'm just saying. I am holy, neither shall you defile yourself with any manner of creeping thing that creeps upon the earth. He said, you can't just have everything. You can't just have anything. Select the things that's good for you and live your best life. For I am the Lord that brings you up out of the land of Egypt. I brought you out of the place where you didn't have these instructions. And you go into a place where you're going to see a lot of this stuff. Don't buy that, Brenda. When you go to Publix, I know you like that ham. That's why you so... I don't like ham like that, but I do love me some good bacon. Lord have mercy. Got to be creative now. I got to learn how to eat. For I am the Lord thy... And I be cooking that stuff on the stove, just be cooking it. And it just be just wrong. Ooh, but at least let me have some cow. For I am the Lord that bring you up. But, cow and pig taste different. Anyway. For I am the Lord that bring you up out of the land of Egypt to be your God. And ye shall therefore be holy, for I am holy. You got to do things right, because I do things right. I don't eat everything. Out of people that walk like me, Brenda, you know how you be walking, right? I found out yesterday that pigs, too much pork make you have arthritis. I got arthritis in my right knee really bad. And then you be praying like, Lord, heal me. He said, change your diet. Lord, thank you for healing me. Change your diet. I love this word. This is the law of the beast and of the fowl. He said, now let's conclude this. This is the law of the beast. In other words, the law means these are the things that you can have. I'm telling you, it's set in stone if you eat it. I'm just letting you know I still love you. But you want to love yourself. This is the law of the beast and of the fowl and of every living creature that moves in the water and of every creature that creeps upon the earth, to make a difference between the unclean and the clean, and between the beast that may be eaten and the beast that may not be eaten. He said, this is just me telling you how much I love you. I didn't change my mind because I gave my son so that he can die. He said, my son died, so once you find this out, he going to help you out so that you can be your best you. Jesus died. Suppose I had been talked like this as a child, and it got in my mind, not as religiously, but as just practicality of going to the doctor. And they said, there's something about the members of your family, y'all don't have high blood pressure. I don't have high blood pressure. I don't. When I go to the doctor, they automatically assume they ready to give me some pills. Then they say, wait a minute, hold up. You don't have high blood pressure? I don't. But I'm overweight. And half of what I'm overweight because when you see my grocery basket, I got the fun foods. Oh, I'm free. I can eat anything I want to. No, I can't. I bet I don't look like Angela Bassett. I bet you she don't eat like me. Anyway, y'all, that's why I love the word, because it is a corrector, and it is and I got it for myself. And I'm not just reading this word to just say, I read it. I'm reading this word because I need it. And I love him that wrote it. And I just want to know everything there is about him, old and new. So if you think that God was not merciful in the Old Testament, you are highly mistaken. Ask Aaron, the high priest, what he did yesterday, and God didn't take him out of here. He had mercy on him. So he's having mercy on me, and I'm in, y'all, watch him now. I am getting ready to be better. I can't hardly wait to get in chapter 12. I never read chapter 11 like that before, but I'm willing to submit and be a better me so I can represent a little bit more about him. Love y'all. Talk to y'all later. Bye.